Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Tutelage, a guide to learner. Here, this is Sriparna. Hope all of you are doing good. In my last session, we had discussed different types of teaching method like project method, demonstration method, lecture method, team teaching method, brainstorming session, etc. So today we are going to discuss some teaching methods under the chapter. So that's why this title is called the Teaching Aptitude Part 7. So let's start the session and move on the next slide. So the first one is the aesthetic learning and role playing and the simulation method. And secondly, we will discuss for today programmed, differentiated and personalized instruction teaching method. And lastly, we will discuss TV or video presentation and live session. So let's begin the session and move on the main slide. So learner, we have already discussed what do you mean by our teaching methods, and some teaching methods are teacher centric method and some are the learner centric method. So and we have already discussed some teaching methods already in my previous session. So please, if you have missed my previous session, so please go and check my description box and my first comment where the previous session link is already shared. So now we are going to explain another some teaching methods for this session. So first teaching method of this session, that is kinesthetic learning. So basically, before going to the explanation on the kinesthetic learning is also known as the tactile learning or hands-on learning. Okay. So in this learning, more emphasis on the physical activities. Okay, so there is more emphasis on the physical activities instead of the lecture, demonstration, etc. Okay, so students learn by experiences, role playing, drama, sports, drawing, etc. I think kinesthetic learning, what is meant by kinesthetic learning is clear to everyone. So now move on the next part, that is the merits of the kinesthetic learning. So first one, it involves leisure use of technology. Basically, it is more emphasis on the physical activities, sports, drawing. So that's why it involves leisure use of technology. And now going to the second point, students learn with greater interest and curiosity. So such activities are good in engaging students so that they learn with greater interest and curiosity, and it helps to the students in retaining what they have learned. Basically, students learn by own experiences, role playing, sports, drawing. So that's why it helps students in retaining what they have learned. Okay. So now going to some demerits of the aesthetic learning. So first one is not all subjects can be taught using such type of method where more emphasis on the physical activity. So students learn by their experiences through their drawing, role playing, drama, etc. Okay, so for example, to teach students about rockets, so it will not be affordable for every school to provide hands-on experience at the space center. So that's why it is one of the most important demerits of the aesthetic learning. And now go to the second point. Students might understand the working easily, but they will not have deep knowledge of meaning. So to overcome these demerits, so it should be used with lecturing but not as a substitute of lecturing. I think aesthetic learning is clear to everyone. So in the role playing method, some roles are assigned to students, okay, and then interaction takes place between them. So this form of instruction is used to make students aware of the different persons and their perspective, and it helps in sharpening the critical thinking, creative thinking, debating, reasoning ability, negotiating of the students, etc. And now move on some merits of the role playing method. And it is interactive because we have already told there is interaction. Okay, there is a interaction, so that's why role playing method is a interactive method, and it helps students in retaining what they have learned. And now going to the second point, we have already told that thing, it helps students in retaining and developing confidence, obviously, because there is a critical ability, creative thinking, critical thinking, reasoning ability, and which helps in developing the confidence of the student. So now going to some demerits of the role playing. The first one is it relates to the real life. If you relates to real life situation, so which are very complex. And now going to the second point, introvert and shy students will not be able to take part in such activities because nature of the students varies depending upon their personality. Some are introverts and the shy students, so they will not be able to take part in such kind of activities, and the outcomes of such an activity cannot be predetermined due to their unpredictable nature of the students. And I think this is clear. And now move on the next teaching method, that is the simulation method. Okay, so simulation is basically a form of a role playing, sorry, uh, role playing method, and students learn in environment. So it is based on the experimental learning where students learn in an environment similar to the real life situation, and this way they get prepared for solving problems similar to the real life situation, and it is helpful for the medical students, pilot, management students, defense forces, drivers, etc. Okay, so simulation method is basically a form of a role playing method, and students learn in environment which is basically similar to the real life situation. Going to some merits of the simulation method. Okay, so it helps to develop problem solving abilities in students. Okay, because students learn in environment similar to the real life situation, and that's why it helps to develop problem solving abilities in students mind. Okay, so now going to the second point, it helps on the skill development. And now going to the last point, this is simulation method is very economical method. And now move on the some demerits of the simulation method. The first one is expensive requirement are required. Sometimes expensive equipment may be required for training, so that's why which is one of the most important demerit of the simulation. And now going to the second point, it is not easy to recreate the real life situation in artificial settings, so due to their complex nature, so that's why it is one of the most important demerit of the simulation method. So now move on the next method. So here we can see the live session method. So what is the live session method? At first we have to know. Okay, so live session method. In the live session method, teachers can go live their FB pages, YouTube channel, etc. and students can provide feedback, ask questions in the chat section. Okay, so video presentation or the telecast on television has the drawback of lack of two-way communication, and this can be overcome with the use of the live session. So teachers can go live their FB pages, YouTube channel, etc. Okay, so I think this is clear to everyone, because live sessions is most commonly used in today's environment and today's life. Okay, so now going to some merits of the live session. So first one is no pre-recorded videos are required. So here teachers can go live their FB pages or YouTube channel or their or any platform on or any online platform. So no pre-recorded videos are required there. Okay. So now move on. The second point, students can ask questions immediately. Okay. Can ask question immediately, and students get feedback immediately also. Okay. So now move on. The third point, there is no restriction on viewers. There is any number of viewers can watch their live session on FB pages, YouTube channel, etc. And now move on. The fourth point, it gets uploaded online. Students can watch it later also. Okay, because if anyone has missed the live session, he or she can watch it later as well. So now move on the some demerits of the live session. So first one is difficult for remote area students because who don't have smartphone and good internet connection. Obviously live session method will be very difficult for the remote area students because they don't have smartphones and good internet connection to watch the sessions. Okay, so I think this is clear. So now move on the next topic. So here we can see two teaching method. First one is programmed instruction method, and the second one is the differentiated instruction method. So at first we have to discuss what do you mean by a programmed instruction. Basically programmed instruction process or learning method takes place in a series of controlled and sequential steps. So it is provided to students and they cover it as per their convenience. And now going to the differentiated instruction, this is basically there is a flexibility in the instruction, grouping and the evaluation process. And differentiated instruction method is basically a teacher centered method, and it helps to address individual need through different subject matter and environment. Clear? So differentiated system of instruction is different from the personalized instruction method. So now we are going to discuss what do you mean by a personalized instruction method. So personalized instruction method or learning system basically refers to a set of methods, techniques which are used to address the diversified needs of the students. Okay. So learning style, pace of content, environment can vary from student to student on the basis of experience, prior knowledge, their requirements, interest and goals of the student. So learner has choice over what material he or she should use to meet the course target. The main objective basically varies from the student to student, and it is a student centered method of teaching. The students learn from what they do. They accomplish their own learning, and it is an alternative to one size fits all approach of the teaching. So now going to the merits of the personalized instruction. So we have already told that thing. It helps to address the diversified needs of the students, and that's why it is called the student centric method, and it is known as also self-paced learning. Okay, so now move on the second point, autonomous and independent learners. So in this method learners are more autonomous and independent. Okay, so now move on some demerits of the personalized instruction. So going to the demerits of the personalized instruction. So first one is students need to be self-disciplined. So in order to complete the whole course within the specified duration, self-discipline is one of the main criteria for the personalized instruction. Without discipline, students cannot complete the course within the specified duration, okay, and it cannot be used for the primary student. Obviously, self-discipline, self-paced learning, autonomous independent learner, it is not possible for the primary students, and that's why personalized instruction is not used for the primary students, and it will be difficult to use in case of swiftly changing the course content. So that's why the personalized instruction doesn't work in that kind of situation. So I think this is clear. On the previous teaching method, we have already started it, but at first we have to know what is a programmed instruction, and we have already told that thing. So programmed instruction method or programmed learning method basically takes place in a series of controlled and sequential steps. So it is provided to students and they cover it as per their convenience. And one of the main feature of this method is immediate feedback to students. So students are provided correct answers immediately after they have solved the questions and the topic. So they progress gradually with the content, and such type of method can also be used in the absence of the teacher also. So programmer has to fragment the whole topic into small sections, okay. So there will be evaluative tests after each section and correct responses are provided immediately. So now move on the merits of the programmed instruction. The first point, it helps to address the individual differences. Obviously, we have already told that thing previously. So now move on the second point, learning by doing method is used, okay. So now going to the third point, and which is one of the most important merit of the programmed instruction, there is a greater flexibility in teaching and learning. So here we can see some demerits of the programmed instruction, and the first point, it is not used for the primary students. Obviously, programmed learning basically a student-centered approach, and it takes place in a series of controlled and sequential steps, and the material is provided to the students and they cover their materials as per their convenience. So that's why it is impossible for the primary students. And now going to the second point, costly. The programmed instruction method is costly. Basically, it is used in expensive materials. So that's why this teaching method is costlier compared to the other teaching method. And now going to the third point, this is a time consuming process. Obviously, this is a time consuming process because the whole topic programmer has fragment the whole topic into small sections, and there will be a evaluative test after each sections, and correct responses are provided immediately. So students are provided correct answer immediately after they have solved the question. So they progress gradually with the content. So the whole process is obviously a time consuming process. So it will be difficult to cover entire syllabus in a limited time period. And now move on the fourth demerit, experts are needed. So there is a need of experts for planning the whole programmed instruction. Without expertise, the programmed instruction process or procedure is fully pissed off. Okay, so now move on the next teaching method, that is a differentiated instruction method. So we have already told that thing. Differentiated instruction method is teacher centered method, and it helps to addressing the individual need through different subject matter and environment, and the goals to be achieved will be the same, but the teacher can differentiate the subject matter, learning practices, learning environment, etc. to address the individual needs of the students, and there is a flexibility in the instruction, grouping and evaluation also. So now move on the differentiated instructions merit, and I think the differentiated instructions method is clear to everyone, and programmed instructions, differentiated instructions, personalized instruction, so each and every one is clear to everyone. So now move on the merits. So first one is it is flexible and it can adjust it to students requirement. Obviously we have already told that thing. And now going to the second point, it is effectively used for the small groups. It cannot be used for the larger groups. Okay. So now move on some demerits of the differentiated instruction. So the first point is not possible to understand needs of all students. Okay, the teacher needs to understand all students before planning differentiated activities for them, but this is not possible to understand the needs of the all students. And now going to the second point, difficulty in large groups. So there will be difficulty in implementing such a method for a large group of students. I think the differentiated instructions method demerits is clear to everyone. So now move on the next method, that is the TV or video presentation, and which is one of the most interesting and most commonly used teaching method nowadays. Okay, so this is the another way of engaging students is playing some educational video presentations or educational channels or television. Okay, so it can be used specifically for showing documentaries, and there can be a discussion session or question hour followed by the presentation, and videos can be shown in the classroom, or this can be uploaded online. If it is uploaded online, and then its link can be shared with students to watch it at their own pace. I think nowadays which is one of the most popular teaching method, TV or video presentation. So now going to the some merits of the TV or video presentation. So it helps in gaining the interest of the students, and students will be able to retain information also. Lectures of the teachers from the highly reputed institutes and the other experts can be shown to students even in remote areas. For example, there are online lectures available of the teachers, professors of the IITs, IIMs and other reputed institutes. So those who were not able to get admitted in this institute can also watch these lectures and discussions online. So students can save the videos for further use. So now going to the some demerits of the TV or video presentation. The first one is difficult for updating videos. It is difficult to update videos with a new information. If there is any update regarding a topic, then a new video should be recorded. And now going to the second point, expensive software. All softwares, all equipments are very expensive, which is required to basically to record videos and present these in the class, and good internet connection is required in this teaching method. So for accessing online lectures, presentations, good internet connectivity is required, and this is only the one-way communications. Queries of the students are not resolved as they cannot ask questions to expert in the video, and which is one of the most important demerit of the TV or video presentation. And we have already told that thing, video presentation or telecast on television has the main drawback, the lack of two-way communications. But this drawback or this demerit can be overcome with the use of the live sessions, because where teachers can go live on their Facebook pages, groups and YouTube channels, and students can provide feedback, ask questions in the comment section. So I think this is the basic differences between the TV or video presentation and the live sessions. So we are done for the today's session. I hope this session will be very useful to you. If you like my session, then one like, one comment, one share for me, and please do subscribe my channel for getting more useful session. I will come again with a new session. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you to all of you From my core heart, happy learning.